Hi.
Very nice. See you.
Are we gonna? Come on in.
Hi, Studio Recapped here. Today, we're going to talk about a movie called Prime in the comedy and romance genres. Spoiler alert is on, watch out and take care. You won't believe how much your support means. Thank you so much for your support. The movie starts with a 39-year-old woman named Rafi. She was sitting in front of her therapist, Lisa. Rafi looks upset because she had just signed her divorce papers. Lisa, who had always supported her, tells her that it's completely natural to feel sadness and a sense of failure after a divorce. Lisa encourages Rafi to stay positive, as she is now free to focus on her own happiness. Next, we are introduced to a young man named David, a talented painter. David is carefree and always engages in wild, thrilling adventures with his best friend Morris. David helps Morris get a girl into trouble. In fact, he always does this. Morris had a crush on a beautiful girl. When she rejected him, he decided to take revenge by smashing a cake in her face. But at that moment, the girl's brothers come out and start chasing Morris. Fortunately, Morris and David manage to escape just before the girl's brothers catch them and leave the area. After that, David takes Morris to the cinema because Morris had a date with a girl there. David meets an old friend of his and introduces Rafi and Catherine to him. At the same time, a girl named Michelle arrives and kisses Morris. It was clear that their relationship was serious to Michelle. Everyone enters the theater to watch the movie. David steps out for a moment to go to the restroom, but when he tries to re-enter the theater, he finds the door locked. He then notices Rafi, who, like him, is stuck outside. They end up alone together in the hallway. This gives them the opportunity to talk. We see that David is captivated by Rafi's beauty. After the movie, we see that David twists things around with Michelle and distances himself from her. He then says goodbye to Rafi, and from then on we see that David is constantly thinking about her and has become obsessed with her. He even goes to her apartment to try and see her again, tricking the doorman. David goes through the phone book and after several attempts, finds Rafi's number. He bravely asks her out. Rafi, impressed by him, agrees, and the next evening, they go to an Italian restaurant together. They talk a lot, laugh, and have a great time. Rafi, who hadn't dated anyone in years, was shocked but felt so comfortable with the guy. Of course, David's sense of humor didn't hurt either. They go to the market to buy beer. But when David pays with his card, Rafi notices his age and becomes thoughtful. He's about 19. When Rafi expresses her concerns, David just laughs and says age doesn't matter. He was more interested in their connection. Later on, he takes the attractive woman to a garden where they enjoy a magical night together. The next day, Rafi happily tells her therapist about the new events in her life. Their date the previous night ended with a kiss and a romantic hug. Lisa, seeing that Rafi is finally feeling better and happy after a tough time, encourages her to enjoy this newfound happiness, even if it doesn't last long. Rafi knew this relationship might not be very serious, but she was happy with David. The next day, we witness a shocking scene. In fact, Lisa was David's mother. David begins talking to his mother about his new relationship. Lisa didn't know who her son's girlfriend was. All she knew was that David was seeing a girl. Lisa tells her son his girlfriend should be Jewish. David lies and says his girlfriend is only 1 year older than him. Meanwhile, the romantic relationship between the two grows even more intimate. David shows Rafi how amazing classical music is and makes Rafi feel even happier about him. They go out more and more and eventually spend an entire night together. Rafi appears much happier in her next therapy session. Lisa hadn't seen her this happy in a long time. But when Rafi starts talking about David, Lisa realizes that the person Rafi is involved with is her own son. Lisa is shocked and quickly ends the session. Not only is Rafi not Jewish, but there is also a significant age gap between her and her son, which makes Lisa even more worried. Lisa visits her own therapist and asks for advice. The therapist tells her to let the relationship continue as it's likely just a short-term romance that will end soon. That afternoon, David takes Rafi to a local rap event to introduce her more to his world. It had a unique atmosphere, and most people were much younger than Lisa, but they were full of energy and happy. Rafi starts dancing and enjoying herself. On the way in the taxi, the two of them get cozy and intimate. Rafi wants to go to Dave's house to see where he lives, but Dave says he lives with his grandparents and they need to try to enter his room quietly. Rafi sees Dave's paintings and realizes how talented his boyfriend is and encourages him to showcase his art in a gallery. In Rafi's opinion, the boy could make money from his art. The next morning, Dave finds out that his grandparents are going to Miami for a couple's vacation, which meant he would be alone for a while. Dave tells Lisa that he plans to stay with Morris during this time. Lisa feels relieved until Rafi surprises her in their next therapy session by saying that she and her boyfriend have started living together. This shocks Lisa, but she tries to control herself. While Rafi and Dave were living together, they were getting closer. They decide to spend their weekend off with Rafi's co-workers. Rafi introduces a few of her colleagues who could help guide Dave. Then, seeing one of her co-workers' baby, she picks it up with love and joy. Here, Dave realizes how much Rafi wants to be a mother while he himself wasn't ready to be a father. This causes Dave to distance himself from his love. In the next therapy session, Rafi is confused and frustrated, talking about Dave's changed behavior. Lisa, feeling a bit better after hearing this, decides to confess and tells Rafi that Dave is her son. Rafi is shocked and feels like Lisa has been playing with her all this time. She leaves angrily. Rafi goes home and tells Dave about what happened. At first, Dave laughs, but gradually he gets angry about his mother's interference and calls her, arguing with her. Both of them feel betrayed. They start arguing and things between them get worse, so Dave decides to stay with Morris for a few days. After a while, Rafi tells Dave that she wants to become a mother. They realize their lives are heading in different directions, and in the end, Rafi decides to break up. On the other hand, Lisa was struggling with her guilt. She intended to help Rafi and Dave, but she ended up hurting both of them more. After their relationship ended, Rafi and Dave went through tough times. They couldn't forget each other and missed each other a lot, but they were too proud to say anything. Morris tries to change Dave's mood by taking him to a club. At first, Dave doesn't feel good, but after a while, he begins to enjoy it. The next morning, he finds himself in bed and realizes he cheated on Rafi, feeling deeply ashamed. Fate brings Dave and Rafi face to face in a shopping mall. After a deep conversation, they decide to move past the past and try to rebuild a good relationship. They had strong feelings for each other and wanted to rebuild them. The only challenge ahead of them was for Dave's family to accept their relationship. Dave takes Rafi to his house, and during a family dinner, he talks about his career success and admits that Rafi was the reason for this progress. Over time, we see that his family accepts their relationship, and the issue is resolved. However, the next day, Rafi's co-workers tell her they saw Dave with a woman at a nightclub. Rafi talks to Dave, and Dave admits that he made a mistake and cheated on her. This deeply hurts Rafi and breaks her. With a broken heart, she leaves Dave. Dave, who had ruined the relationship, goes to Lisa to talk to her. Lisa tells him that love requires honesty and trust. Dave, accepting his mistake, goes to Rafi and asks for forgiveness. Seeing that Dave understands his mistakes and is remorseful, Rafi forgives him. But the sad thing is that even though they loved each other deeply, they wanted different things in life, and Rafi understood this well. She wanted to become a mother, but Dave wasn't ready for that. We witness a year passing. Dave is walking with Morris. He's very excited because he found an opportunity to show his art in a gallery, which could be a turning point in his career. He goes to the Italian restaurant where he had been with Rafi before, and he sees Rafi having a good time with his friends. Dave, still having feelings for her, can't stay there and leaves the restaurant. But after a few steps, he turns back and watches Rafi from behind the glass. They lock eyes again, and in silence they revisit their love once more, sharing a smile. The story ends like this, a look filled with memories and love that still existed.